What is up, guys, and welcome to the VisualWood Podcast, episode number 44.
So last week we had an intro 7 minutes into the podcast, and this week we had it instantly.
Wow. Yeah, look at us being all professional.
So here's my story, okay? Here's like this weird thing about me. What were we talking about just before we recorded? You got a drink, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and what happened with the drink?
The cup was, for some reason, usually this is the cup I use, right? Everyone knows it on the stream as that little, I don't know, like that American flag cup. It's a huge cup.
Oh, what? You've got like a patriotic cup.
Yeah, it was from like one of those stores, one of those,
America stores. America.
No, gas stations.
With eagles.
Gas stations from a long time ago, where they had like the American flag on the cups or whatever for a slushie. And I always use those cups later on because they're so huge. So you can put in, a bunch of ice and a bunch of water and just drink it, throughout the day because they're huge. Mm-hmm. So cause I drink a lot of water, and it's better to have a bigger cup so you can like kind of inhale it, at one time. So you don't have to worry about just taking sips of the dang water. It's so annoying.
Right.
But yeah, it was right by the sink, and I was like, I rinsed it out. I was like, oh, okay. But I remember her cleaning yesterday, and she might have sprayed around it. And I think I've been drinking Pine Sol.
Wait, Pine Sol? What, like furniture polish?
No. It's like a cleaning product. Here.
Oh, okay.
It's like Pine Sol, baby.
Do you know what?
You ever seen that commercial?
No. Do you know what fairy washing up liquid is?
Fairy dust liquid?
Fairy washing up liquid. Fairy. It's a brand.
No.
I guess you have Pine Sol and I have Fairy. That's pretty interesting. It's like a green liquid. Yeah, sure. Okay, so you don't like drinking from a cup that tastes kind of weird. Weird thing about me, I don't think I've ever told you about it, okay? Have you ever seen Everybody Loves Raymond?
Of course.
Okay. Do you know what Robert does in that show, like all the time? Robert being Raymond's older brother, very tall guy.
The policeman. I don't.
When he's eating, he does something. It's like a weird quirk about him.
I don't remember. It's been years.
So this character, whenever he eats, he gets something on like a spoon or a fork, and as he brings it up to his mouth, instead of just eating it, gone.
He smells it a little bit or something like that?
No, he taps it on his chin, and then he eats. Every time he brings it. So I don't do that specifically, but I've got something almost exactly like that. And it's with cups. Whenever I want to get a glass of water, which is quite a lot lately because, the summer heat, right? Whenever I pick up a cup from like a cupboard, I always sniff it instantly. Just the moment I just bring it up to my face, just for the briefest of moments, quick little sniff in, and then I fill it with water. And you'd be surprised how often you realise like they've not been properly rinsed out or whatever, and they smell of like washing up liquid or worse.
Yeah.
And it's just this thing I always do now, always. And I never like had a bad experience where I was like, oh, I just drank, ash or something because someone was using it as a cigarette tray or something. I just sort of developed this thing. Which I'm sure
have a similar thing where I wash or rinse everything before I use it, even if it's already been washed or rinsed.
Okay.
So like even if it's already been washed. Like a spoon, for instance. I'll get a spoon and I'll rinse it out. I get a cup and I'll rinse it out.
See, I've heard that some people do this, okay? And I think it's like one of those weird clean freak things. And I'm not clean enough to do this, okay? But I've heard that there are people who, whenever they see a sink, whenever they've just got a free second or so and they see a sink, they have to wash their hands. They just go and they wash their hands. And they think people are dirty if they don't do that kind of thing. What's your opinion on that? Because to me, that's just excessive.
I have a friend who used to wash his hands so much that his hands became pink.
Oh, dude, no, that's bad. That's really bad.
It's really bad. Really
That's
bad.
like his skins, basically. You know what can cause that as well? If you've got like a hand wash or whatever, you're using stuff to wash your hands that's, more powerful industrial stuff that's meant to be used in like labs or whatever. And you get this nice tingly feeling on your fingers. You're like, oh yeah, that soap feels really good. And what it's actually doing is it's literally just burning the outer layers of your skin off your hands. And I can see if you do that enough, pink. Ugh. Dude.
Can you imagine washing your hands until you bleed? Oof. That would be quite interesting. Maybe not.
I'm watching Lost at the moment, like marathoning like mad. And there's a scene in it in season 1 I don't know. I guess it's the start of season 2, right? Where this guy is holding a rope and he's trying to help a girl go down this like big shaft. And as he's doing it, he's like slowly feeding the rope through his hands, slowly feeding it, and then something happens, right? And suddenly the rope like starts pulling really, really hard on him. So now he's gripping the rope, but it's sliding through his fingers as hard as he can grip. And as you're watching it, it's just like flaying the skin off of the palms of his hands, and you just see all this blood and flesh and stuff like going on along the rope. It's not as graphic as I just described it, but it's horrible, and I just think, oh god, that's the worst thing in the world. I remember being like quite young, and you know, like monkey bars. Yeah. Where you like, do you have those, right? Where you hang in the... So it was really hot day, and these monkey bars were I won't say that they were burning or anything, but for some reason, I don't know what it was, but if you gripped these monkey bars and you swang across, me and my friends, we all did it, and then when you looked at your hand, it literally just you know, like a callus, yeah, where the skin's like come loose or whatever, but it's still there, you know? Yeah. And then eventually the callus like bursts and the skin opens up or whatever. Like, just imagine that all, you know, just where your fingers hit the palm of your hand, there's like that little lump each time. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of bone. Yeah. Like a little circular bit of bone each time. All across those, imagine like one big callus that's just connected and like spreads into the palm of your hands. It's horrible. And then you couldn't hold a fist in your hand at all without it stinging like mad for days. Horrible.
Oh my god! You ever fall off the monkey bars? Because I have. Never.
I think I probably did at one point. Probably. It depends how high they are, though, right?
Yeah, mine was. I mean, it wasn't dangerously high, but if you fell, it hurt. Yeah, it hurt. Don't you? You like, you know that feeling where you fall and everything kind of slows down a bit.
Right. Yeah.
And you can always remember that moment and how slow it was. But when it was happening, it feels fast, but it feels slow as well. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. And
I learned the other day
backwards and seeing the world upside down until you splat on the floor. It's yeah.
Do you know why that like slow-mo thing happens to us as people? Like, I found out why this like happens in our brain the other day.
We unlock 100% of our brain while we're in danger.
Yeah, because we only use like 30%, right?
No, we use like 2 or 3%.
No, that's complete BS, dude.
I don't know. That's what I don't know. I am not a scientist.
Pseudoscience.
I don't. Okay, but I don't know Taekwondo.
Here's why slow-mo happens, right? Here's why slow-mo. It's because if something very dangerous happens to you, suddenly your body jolts it to attention and floods you with adrenaline, right? And while you're flooded with adrenaline and this really bad thing's happening to you, your brain is like working in overdrive and it's remembering loads of stuff, like tons of stuff. It's taking in loads and loads of information constantly, right? So as it happens, it actually doesn't feel like slow-mo. It's just, which is why you just said it feels kind of fast, but it's not, right? It's then when you remember it later, you may have like a 1 second window of time, but your brain has remembered like a million different things that all happened in that 1 second. And so in retrospect, you can think through all this stuff that you remembered seeing, and then in retrospect, it feels like it was a much longer period of time, and it feels like slow-mo. If that makes sense, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Also, there's this whole Wikipedia. Yeah, Wikipedia. 10% brain myth. That. And it is 3%. It is 3%. That was, the myth, or, I don't know. Okay. But it was like 3%, and there's 10%, and there's like 27%, and blah blah blah. Like there's.
Are they all myths though?
I don't know for sure. Like I'm not the guy to talk about this stuff. But yeah.
Well, the closest you can say is like different areas of your brain are used for processing different things, obviously. So I'm sat here talking to you. Some of my brain is being used right now because it's the parts that want me to be able to have a decent conversation, social cues, stuff like that. There are other parts of my brain that I'm not thinking of at all, like how would this shape fit into this shape? Like that part of my brain isn't working right now. So yeah, I'm not using 100% of my brain, but that's only because I don't need to use 100% of my brain. I think that's the thing with it anyway. It's not like we've got like secret.
That. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, definitely, but
well, think about like the art and logic thing, like how they say one hemisphere is really good for artistic things and the other is better for like logical things. So like someone while they're painting, they're not,
I am not qualified to talk about this, so we could just move on.
What are you talking about, dude? We're brain surgeons. Didn't we tell anyone?
I am not gonna. I learned something never talk about something that you're not very sure of, because
I'm very sure here. Dude, look, if you guys don't know, me and Matt met at brain surgery school.
Dude, that's a secret,
Okay.
man. We're just
Well,
doing
look,
YouTube
they need
now,
to know.
man. We gave it all for them. We gave it all.
Did you
Our
know
careers?
a cure for schizophrenia is to cut someone's brain completely in half? Did you know that? Completely in half.
the
See, I learned that
hell?
at brain school. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but there's actually a fleshy bit of your brain, like right between the two hemispheres, that isn't actually brain tissue. And what it does is it just lets you pass thoughts from one side to the other. And when you have schizophrenia, the that bit of tissue in the middle of your brain like doesn't work properly, and it won't let information go through one side. And so when you've got like two personalities or whatever going on, schizophrenia isn't actually the word, I believe. It's just like multiple personality disorder, right? So
Yeah.
if you've got two voices in your head, it's literally because half of your brain is really struggling to contact the other half of your brain, and so they can work completely independently. And so what people do to fix it is they literally just cut them in half, and they say there's going to be no communication here or whatever, and then there you go. It's true. It is true.
All right. iTunes reviews. What do we have today?
Oh no, don't do this to me. I've been so unprepared this podcast.
Wait, what do you mean? You have it on the outline.
Yeah, I know, but that's from last week. Some of this stuff I didn't have to change, did I? So look, iTunes is currently loading up, all right? Do you want to tell people how angry you are with me? About all the stuff that
I'm
I
so
haven't done this
angry.
week?
Let's fill this part of the podcast with nonsense. So I this is a AI that When Potatoes made. I'm not a real person.
Okay, all right. So what is your service
He killed
number?
me in a recent video. So
Well, yeah, I mean, this was a big emotional moment for the two of us, probably the biggest conflict we'll ever have in our lives, one of us killing the other one. And all I could think as it was going on was, we need to monetize this, right? We'll make a video of this. So,
oh gosh. All right, you got it yet? You got it?
yeah, I'm at the reviews. So here we go. Most critical reviews. All right.
Oh gosh. Brace
Okay.
yourself. Brace your
Man,
panties.
we only have 1 star. One star review, and that was the guy, angry at me for not revealing my face. They got really angry about it. So apparently we don't actually have many critical reviews. Let's just go with most recent, shall we?
Yes.
We actually don't have any new ones since last week.
Ooh.
We don't have any new ones. Bitter stuff right here. Okay.
All right, go with some of the first ones then.
All right. Okay. We'll go back. Do you want to do the very first review we ever got?
Yeah.
Oh no, we already read that one. Okay, the second one we ever got. Okay, ready?
Brilliant podcast.
Oh no, we read that one as well. All right, here we go. Here's a review. Well, good in it. Bestest podcast ever. Quite concise, don't you think? I mean, we really had to cherry pick to find that. We really did, but I think it worked out in the end, actually.
Well,
So thank you to Silly Bobble for submitting that to us back on May 14th. Well over a month ago. We finally got around to it, so thank you very much for that.
all right. So what did you play this week?
I didn't play any new games this week. Well, okay. It's weird. I don't consider myself to actually be a very good player of the game or care about it that much, but I do often find myself going back to Hearthstone. What's up with that? It's kind of weird.
Well, it's one of those games where you can just kind of pick up and play a couple rounds and move on.
Yeah, I got my very first legendary ever the other day, and it was a Ragnaros as well. So for people out who don't really know Hearthstone very well, that is one of the best legendaries in the game. It really is a very, very strong legendary. And that was the first one I ever got. It was a Rag, and I was like, what is this? RNG has favored me in this game, so I threw it in my deck and I played it a bit more, I guess, for a little while. But
You pray deeply for RNGesus.
Yeah, but most of my time, honestly, has been watching Lost this week. Been catching up. It's been quite the trip, quite a nostalgia trip. How into Lost did you ever get?
Last season, and then I stopped and I
then you
never went
watched,
back
yeah.
because I would have to rewatch the whole damn thing over again, and I'm not doing that to myself again.
It's good.
It's like nailing yourself to the floor. That's how it feels.
But it's enjoyable though.
Is it really? In the first couple seasons, you're like, yosh, and then it just slowly descends into madness. And you just
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like watching the first few seasons, I sort of struggled with it because I was like, you watch the first few seasons, and there's something weird about long-running TV shows where characters die, where you go back to the first seasons and you're watching like this scene, and all these people are sat around a fire or they're doing whatever, and it just feels like hollow because you're like, oh, they're all dead anyway. He dies. What's the point in all this? They're all dead. And I'm like, that happened to me quite a lot. And for Lost as well, another big one is like the mysteries almost. Some of the mysteries, because they set up some small minor things that do end up into, actual massive resolutions. And I do honestly think Lost did resolve it, pretty much everything really well. But it is also kind of weird going back to those first seasons. And they're like, they start setting up mysteries, but not in ways that completely gel with the ultimate resolution, just because they clearly didn't know back then, which sort of makes it suck a bit. But I'm now at the point where I just like the characters a lot. So even though I know some of them are going to die, I'm like, oh yeah, I like you, you're cool, yeah, awesome, sweet, this person's in the scene again. And I don't really, so it only lasted a few episodes.
All right, well...
And, yeah.
Well, I've been watching Castle.
Castle,
this is off topic, but that's the show I've been watching, and it's pretty much still my favorite show. One of my favorite shows. I'm so happy I found that thing. Nathan Fillion.
Stop telling me about shows.
I forgot the name of the girl now, but she also played. I think was it Natalia in Batman? I feel like I'm messing that name wrong up. Oop, people are gonna kill me.
I would tell you, except
good show.
Wiki and Castle comes up with the medieval structure rather than the show.
All right. So I've been playing Shovel Knight. I don't know how did we get to Lost?
Because I said I haven't played anything, but I haven't watched Lost.
Well, I've been playing, Shovel Knight and Gary's mod. Apparently, I never played Gary's mod. Have you ever played Gary's mod?
I've played a little bit of Gary's mod, yeah. Just a little bit.
You have it?
But the thing is, the game is, I think I've still got it, yeah. It was like years ago that I played it. I either played it myself or I played it with a friend. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I played Gary's mod. Yeah, what did you do in Gary's mod, though? What did you play in Gary's mod? Because it could be a million different things, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I played the stuff that's popular. Terrace Hunt and Murder Town and Prop Hunt, of course. Obviously,
yeah.
It's all
like horror
really fun. Really fun stuff. Like it's just one of those games where it just doesn't get old. It seems. I mean, it's been out for years and years.
Yeah, it's because it's entirely user created, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff is just so. There's actually a funny story. The Gary himself. Is there still an achievement on Steam where you can only get this achievement if you are playing on a server when the real Gary, logs into your server at the same time. There's something about that. Like I think it's a Steam achievement. It's pretty much impossible for anyone to get, but you'll only get it if the real Gary goes into your server.
Wow.
That's quite a bold move, right? To put that in there and basically lock yourself into playing this game you've made for the rest of your life so that people can get achievements. Otherwise, they'll shout at you on the internet.
Amazing.
But yeah. Tell me about Shovel Knights.
Yeah,
because we were looking at this the other day.
It's good. It's real good. It's real good.
So what's the idea behind it though?
It's like you're a shovel knight. You use a shovel, and you can don't you know how DuckTales where you could jump on people's heads and stuff like that to hurt the enemy. It has that mechanic as well with the shovel, and also you can dig to get like jewels and stuff, and you also use it as your weapon. So it has a little bit of DuckTales, adds a little bit of Mega Man feel to it, definitely. Like when you move off the screen and come back, the enemies they respawn. But it kind of works with the game because you can. I'm repeating myself because I was on the TOVG podcast, so I'll keep this short. And then we'll talk about Shovel Knight. We're all gushing about it. There's a little bit of Super Mario World where you have a big overworld, and there'll be like enemies moving around in the overworld as well. So you can like fight them, kind of like how Super Mario World 3 was. You ever play Super Mario 3?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it has
like
a really good charm. It has the retro. It has a whole retro feeling to it, while feeling perfect almost. It feels the hitboxes are perfect. Everything is just working properly. And this is with only 2 or 3 hours worth of play. And it's just everything just works. You don't die unfairly. Platforming, it's a really good platform. If you've been missing that 2D platforming awesome feel with some, retro nostalgia all over the place. I mean, all over the place. And they're not using it as a gimmick. It's in the game. Like it feels like I'm playing a game from way back. Except it's a lot cleaner.
It isn't the thing that you mentioned with scrolling off a screen and then coming back and enemies have respawned? Wasn't that just like an artifact of the fact old consoles wouldn't have like enough RAM or whatever to remember all the stuff on previous screens?
Yeah.
So the fact that that's happening in this game is that they've made the conscious design decision to say, hey, we're actually gonna we have the resources, anyone on a computer now would have what it takes to just leave enemies dead, but we're actually gonna make that a part of the game again just to fit the retro feel,
No. It fits the game as well. It's not just a retro feel. What happens is there's a lot of secrets in the game, right?
Okay.
So if you miss the secret because you killed an enemy, because you can jump on their head to jump higher.
Right.
Right.
Oh, so then you reset the scene
and you get to go and complete the secrets. There's a lot of stuff like that going on.
Did you manage to finish it?
No. It just came out yesterday.
Does it strike you as quite a long game or what?
I wonder about that. I wonder if they, limit it to a retro size, but I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to be. I probably could check it up in that site. Have you ever heard of How Long to Beat?
No, but that sounds amazing. I remember ages ago people talking about the fact that one of the like if you buy a game, whether it's in a store or online or whatever, it's got like reviews or stupid little bits of description about what the game is, maybe its genre, but one of the most important things all games should list is how long they are. Like that should be a thing, right? Like movies tell you how long they are.
It depends.
I know it's variable, but there should be at least be a rough estimate, right?
Right.
Because even a rough estimate will at least tell you the difference between a 5-hour co-op shooter to a 70-hour single-player RPG. Do you know what? Like a rough estimate can do something like that for you, and it's just never there. So what is How Long to Beat? Is it just
tells you
user submitted?
Yeah, it's user submitted how long it took them to beat it, and they give you like the average.
Do you not get people trying to, show off their big internet willies by saying, "Oh, I beat it so quickly"? Look.
Yeah. There's different sections. There's different like speed runs and the fastest time and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's different sections for it. So
look at this. This is awesome. So it tells you the main story.
Yeah.
So Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, main story on average 24.5 hours. Pretty solid, right? And then it says the main story and extra content about 32 hours. 100% completionist 52 hours. And I don't know, what's the combined box mean? I'm not sure.
No idea.
That's cool though. That's really cool because you do need different criteria as well. You're right. That's kind of what you were saying, right? You can't just say.
Yeah.
Like, people play at different speeds, and there's
You would hope that the community doesn't want to ruin the numbers, so hopefully.
I wonder what the Lego games look like in this, because the Lego games for like completionist stuff are insane.
Mm-hmm.
So Lego Lord of the Rings, let's have a look. And maybe it'll be, so here we go. Main story, Lego of the Lord of the Rings, 10 hours. Main and extra, 14 hours. Completionist, 32 hours.
Most of them are around 25 hours. 23 hours, 25 hours, 29 hours, 25 hours, 27 hours. So it's not too bad. The only one that's really big was Lego City Undercover. I have no idea what that one is. But yeah. You can also see your time as well, so you can have like a big list. It's really cool.
Oh man, so on Final Fantasy, it's like completionist. For the game I'm LPing, completionist 174.5 hours. You can compare the different Final Fantasies lengths. That's so cool.
Wow. Oh, so I heard that you got a standing desk.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Okay, this is cool. This is really cool. So, earlier in the week, I've already talked to you a bit about this, but earlier in the week, I was like looking at like health benefits of just being stood up, and I was really thinking about like my lifestyle, and especially if you like start looking on the internet at the idea of standing desks, there's a lot of people who get very kind of in your face very quickly about the fact that, you know, the average person sits down way too much and that this is, you know, that's some terrible crime. But you know, just by like having a standing desk of some kind, and instead, and for people that maybe don't understand this, this is literally the idea of using your computer being stood up. That's it. Like, literally, there's no chair. And that's what I'm doing right now. So, I don't actually have a standing desk. Like, they can cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Hold up. You stand all... You don't sit down anymore?
No. Here's the thing. Because
you have a stool,
of this...
right?
No, I don't. I took the chair completely out, right? Here's the thing,
burning
though.
some calories, then.
Because, no, this is horrible, all right? It's okay, and it was kind of a fun little gimmick, and I'm sticking with it. And it's kind of, you know, it's weird. My whole perspective on the way I use my system is completely different. For a few days, right, when I first started getting this, I'd be like, okay, I need to film a video, and there'd be something very, very real in the back of my head that was sort of pulsing away saying to me, oh, you can't do that. You're not ready to do that. You're not ready. Like this feeling that I wasn't prepared to record a video. And it was just because of this huge difference. All the videos I've ever made, I've been sat down. So that's like my natural, that's my comfortable state. That's my, oh, hey, you know, it's video recording. And like, so my psychology is that that's when I'm ready to record a video. And for a few days, honestly, every time I was like, all right, it's time to record, I'd be like, oh, yeah, it felt weird, dude, just because I'm stood up.
Bet.
Yeah, and I found weird stuff as well. Like, so I was playing Hearthstone. You get some guy who takes ages to take his turn. What would you do if some guy was taking ages to take his turn?
Look up some other thing. I have two monitors. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you'd look up something. I got two monitors too. But for some reason, because I'm stood up, I just sat there, just looking at the screen. Like, I was so much more patient. So much more. I'm a more patient person stood up. As crazy as that sounds,
wow.
I never would have thought that this would change my psychology.
Is it because you're focusing a lot?
What, on standing?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I think it's because, you know, when you're like walking around, you know, you just walk into town, walking the dog, doing whatever.
Yeah.
It's very easy for your mind to wander. So maybe over my life, like, I've sort of trained myself to think, all right, if I'm stood up, this is thinking time. This is me time. This isn't distracting myself. This is, you know, time for me. And so when I'm playing Hearthstone, and this guy's taking ages, it doesn't occur to me to go to Reddit or anything. I just sort of let my mind wander for a few seconds. It's weird. It's fascinating. But it also kills, all right? So, have you ever had a job where you have to stand up, like, all day? I've done this before. I used to have 9-hour shifts where I wasn't allowed to sit down at all, except for half an hour on a lunch break. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Yeah.
And so you know that it kills your feet, right?
Yeah.
So I can't do this all the time, right? It's so this podcast, in fact, right? I reckon my feet were already aching before I started recording this. I reckon by the time we get to the end, I'll be like, I need to have a bit of a sit, right? So here's why I've been watching Lost, right? Here's the beauty of it. When I'm watching Lost, I don't have to be up here. I don't have to have my keyboard near me, my mouse, my microphone. I don't need anything. I'll go back there. I'll lay on my bed and I'll watch some TV. And so this has been my sort of, oh man. Yeah, this is what
your
I've been
break time, you do that. Wow.
Yeah, and yeah.
So do you play games as well, standing up?
Yeah, play games completely standing up.
So you have often late nights, so what happens then?
What do you mean?
When you're playing all day. You're standing up all day.
Well, no, I'll swap it about. So I'll play a game for a few hours, and then I'll watch Lost for a few hours, and then I'll come back.
Have you been getting used to it? You know, there's that point where you just kind of get used to being on your feet all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely not as bad as it. I've only been doing this 6 days now. I think 6 days, and I definitely like I can feel because it's this weird thing, you know, like your feet always ache, even when you get used to it. You know that your feet still ache. But your head just switches it off. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not an issue. Like, I can feel it there. But I'm like, you know, they kind of ache, whatever. And I'm sure it'll get, like, worse after a little while. But, you know, it's fine.
Have you been...
It's been really interesting.
Toning up and slimming down? You should be losing, like, a good, you know, 300, 400 calories. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot
Well,
there.
no... when I was reading about the like standing up all the time, one of the health things was like mostly it's not about like losing weight. People just say that there's just like
it's better for your back and everything.
Yeah, there's this weird thing, okay? It's a little off topic, right? But that I was reading about a while ago. These people were basically trying to sell stools that you could put on your toilet. And they were basically saying most health issues, or a lot of health issues that come from people, are, you know how we all now, because in Western society we have toilets, right? So if we need to go and take a poop, we sit down, we just take a regular sitting position. And so, naturally, humans wouldn't do this. They would actually, like, squat. They would get right down and they would squat. And if you think about the way your legs are when you're squatting, it's very different to when you're sitting. Your legs are, like, much higher up, a much bigger angle. And so these people have been doing all this stuff where they say, look, it's so much more healthy to squat poop than it is to just sit. So what they were doing were trying to sell these people stools where they sit on the toilet and then you put your feet on a stool so your feet are really high up and then it's almost like you're squatting, if you can imagine, right? You with me?
Yeah.
So this was one of those weird things. And so standing desks, I feel like, is another one of those things. Like, it's just it's a thing of our existence now where we sit down so much more than we used to, and we've evolved in a certain way. And so it's not even about losing weight. There's just a lot of other weird things that tend to make you unhealthy. But if you're standing, then these are health complications that just won't be inflicted upon you in later years of your life.
But anyway, I was also looking into the, you know, the chairs and stuff like that, and I found this chair that has no back, because usually the chairs that we have now are encouraging you to, like, kind of slouch back or lean back and stuff like that. And what this guy thinks is you're not supposed to have, like, any back support. You're just you sit in an Indian position on this chair and just let your back naturally, you know, sit in its position, so your spine is comfortable and stuff like that. You're not forcing your back to, you know, to the chair or whatever chair that you're using.
Yeah, I did read something about that. Like, for a while, like 10 years ago to 20 years ago, everyone was like forcing people to sit with, you know, really good posture. So my voice may have changed now, and that's because I've got really good posture right now. But apparently that's really unhealthy. It's actually better to slouch slightly while sitting down, but I can totally see getting rid of the back of the chair. So you'd slouch slightly, but you'd be, you know, you're supporting yourself.
Yeah.
And that's just like building your core, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah.
Anyway, I like that.
And it might seem like, oh, it's very unnatural and it doesn't feel good, but like after a while people get used to it, just like the standing thing and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like my chair, which I don't use anymore. My chair is hard wood. There's no like cushion on it. There's nothing on it. And when I first got that chair, after having been on a comfortable office chair, it killed. It was horrible. I was like, how can I sit on this? But, you know, you grind it out for a couple of days, and all of a sudden that chair feels just as comfortable as any other chair in existence.
Okay, so we stayed on bad topics for 4.
What do you mean? People are interested in this. They're learning stuff.
All right. So, is it time for the movie club? Is it time?
All right, yeah, sure. Okay.
We can make this horrific. I mean, what? Very good.
Enlightening discussion.
Very good RoboCop 2014 review, I guess.
Oh, so you didn't like the movie?
I love. All right. Before I start getting all fanboyish and stuff like that, this is a remake of the old original RoboCop back in the days. This is 2014, just came out. It has really good actors. And I actually like the actor from Alex Murphy. He didn't get to really show anything much because of, you know, what happened in the movie. You know, they drained all the. Anyways, there's a certain part of the movie that he couldn't show emotion and stuff like that. So he was basically like a side character at that point, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. But I for when he was doing his stuff, you know, it was relatively. It wasn't that bad.
Do you think he was cast well? His acting aside, do you think he was cast well? Because I gotta say, early on, I like he was like, oh, I'm a tough guy cop. You know, he had the deep voice and stuff. He was throwing people off, but he looked kind of like a young, happy-go-lucky guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he wasn't this scary cop. I don't know. I feel like the casting was slightly off. He was like on the edge. He just about passed.
That's the thing about the remakes. They go for something totally different. Like, yes, maybe I gotta remember, RoboCop was made in a different time, in a different movie space, I guess you can say. Like back then, you know, these funny I Frankenstein movies, you know, making fun of themselves type movie. Well, I Frankenstein wasn't kind of like that. But you know that type of movie where they're just, it's just fun. It's just good fun, and that's what RoboCop was. This movie is not that. This movie is trying to be this. I don't even know what's a good example. They're trying to be a better remake.
Movie.
Yeah, they're trying to be a serious action movie. When the action, I gotta say, is underwhelming. Underwhelming. It seems like RoboCop is real. Like it doesn't really seem like CGI for some reason, or you know, or he's wearing a suit. It kind of feels real, but it's still meh. Like just meh all over the place. Like so what do you have to depend on, right? It's gonna be like Godzilla. You thought you were gonna see like really cool effects all the time and stuff like that, but you end up seeing only a little bit of Godzilla. So you have to depend on the story. The story itself is not so good either, or just not. It's just not RoboCop.
Yeah, like for the first 40 minutes of the movie, I was ready to say this on the podcast, right? And I take it back now, but for the first 40 minutes of the movie, there's like a point where basically they've established everything. And I was like, wow, they really paced that really well. I was like, damn, they've explained a lot about why he is RoboCop, the limitations of who he is as a RoboCop, what control other people have over him as RoboCop, how the development... Like, they explained all this stuff, and I actually thought it was really good in the first 40 minutes. But then it, like, kept that tone. Like, the whole movie felt like it just kept setting up... Like, it almost, to me, felt... Don't you think the format of this movie was a little bit like a superhero film? You know, you got Guy, something extraordinary happens, he becomes, you know, super powered or whatever, and now it's his opportunity to fight crime and evil. And you'd expect if it was following that line, you'd have a really good, then after those first 40 minutes, it'd be like, oh, okay, now here's the evil dude, and here's a bit of his backstory, and now here's what's in danger, and now they're gonna have a big fight, and you know, that's the crescendo of the movie, and then it ends. Like, but RoboCop didn't do that, did it? It was like... I mean, there was a bit of like an evil thing that they were doing towards the end, but I don't know. I felt like it really tapered off.
Yeah, it sure did. It seemed like they were trying to do the same plot, but not doing the same plot, and it fell so short, man. Like there was, all right, in RoboCop, the original RoboCop, there was this character played by the guy from That 70s Show, the father. I can't remember his name. I will look up his name, but he played the villain. He was one responsible for killing RoboCop, right? And in RoboCop, the first one, like, Alex Murphy gets decked. I mean, he gets shot up, all right? Like, all over the place. Blah, 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 blah. Blood everywhere. Everywhere. Okay? RoboCop 2014 is a PG movie. This is for kids. Okay?
There was so little blood in it. Yeah.
There's not... How do you go from that? How do you go from... All right, so this is where the fanboy comes out a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'll bet
it was a gritty film. It was a real film. It was an ugly film. But I understand they have to change it because now they have the technology to make things look cool now. You know, they don't...
So, wait, let me get this straight. You're saying that... Because I never watched the first RoboCop, right? You're saying that the first RoboCop didn't take itself seriously and it was kind of jokey with what it did, but it was also really kind of gory at the same time.
Oh, it was absolutely gory.
But all of that's true. And then the remake is like the opposite. There's basically no gore in it at all or any like grittiness. But it also is taking itself very, very seriously.
And it's Kurt Wood Smith is the guy from That 70s Show. He's the one who played the crazy guy. All right, you know that the guy who's responsible in the RoboCop 2014 for planning a hit on him and blowing up his car, because Alex Murphy dies brutally in the first one. In 2014, a car blows up. Not really that much spoilers, and trust me, you don't want to watch this film, the car blows up, and that's how he turns into RoboCop. He gets burns. Like,
I feel like, I don't know.
And they don't even show
there was
his
nothing wrong
face.
with
They
that.
don't even show that he's messed up.
Yeah, well, they did though, didn't they? They
At
showed
the,
that
what,
thing
at
of
the
his
end,
eye.
they show like a
No.
little bit of burn. Like, really, dude?
Whoa, no, come on, you got to be more fair than that. They showed that
Fair,
like close
dude,
up.
fair. You haven't watched the original RoboCop movie. Don't say that. Don't say that. You're gonna make me go crazy on this podcast, dude. You don't understand. Arms and limbs come off in RoboCop. Okay, squibs everywhere, blood. It's crazy. This dude, he blows up, and they don't even show his messed up body. Like, they
All
show
right,
like tattered up clothes.
There are two ways you can look at the movie, right? You can look at it with reference to the original one and how it's different to the original one.
And they do make references. I'll buy that for $1. Oh my gosh.
Or you can. Oh, is that where that comes from?
Yes.
And that's a reference, is it?
Yeah. There's a lot of references in there. You know, like, it's almost like they're making fun of them destroying the RoboCop name. But yeah, I mean,
if you look at this movie in a vacuum, though, yeah, you might think that was different and not as good as the original. But for me, watching this movie, that bit with the car blowing up, that was fine. It was pretty good. When you saw like those like close-ups of like the retinas of his eyes being burnt out, and come on, those scenes where like he takes the suit off and he's just like this.
Yes,
thing?
that was good. I didn't totally hate this movie. I like for some of the stuff, like I said, there was really good actors in this film. There's Gary Oldman. There was Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson can play in any movie, and it will be good. Like,
I want to talk about what he did in this movie in a second.
Yeah. He was basically like a news anchor that was for machines, and you know he
all
put
right,
his biased opinion all over the place.
Don't you think that stuff was useless? Like, at the start, it was good. I liked the movie opening with it. But, oh, God, and the way this movie ends, what did you think about the way with the Samuel L. Jackson? It literally felt like, oh, we got to have more of these, like, news scenes in because it's Samuel L. Jackson, and we got to have him there.
Dude.
And we don't want to do, like, what Godzilla did with Bryan Cranston. Wait, this came out earlier, did it? Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it felt like, oh, we paid this big-name actor. He really has no place in this story at all. But we got to shoehorn a bunch of scenes where we can cut back to him. And the end, like, there's no swearing in this movie at all. And then right at the end, oh, come on, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Did you like his stuff?
And he blocked it out. Like, hold up. Since when is it not a news station, right? When are you not watching it on the TV? But I guess you weren't, because you get these camera angles that show the news as well, like the camera crew and everything, right? When Samuel L. Jackson is talking, and then all of a sudden he curses and it's blocked out. Why is it blocked out? Why is it blocked out if we're right there in the studio with him? It would have been nice to cut back to a television and hear it being, blocked out then. And then go back in.
Yeah, that would have been a nice in-universe way of censoring the movie to keep it releasing as a PG-13 or whatever. Yeah, that would have been good.
Dude,
at the very least,
like,
ruins things.
Dude, of course it does. It obviously does. But man,
well, look, you've just broke a lot of 13-year-olds' hearts.
Even Twilight was more violent than this. Okay, even Twilight was more violent than this.
Did you really just want violence from this movie?
No, I was look, I go into remakes expecting just to enjoy myself. I try not to think about, the movie I watched before, the original. I try to just go into just enjoy the movie, right? That's what I'm going to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? Mm-hmm. They're not aliens. They get some script rewrites on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It might be actually decent. You never know, But I'm going to go in there enjoying it for the movie and, Michael Bay's crazy eye candy. I thought, at least in RoboCop, I was going to get some action. This guy's a black RoboCop. I thought he was going to do some really cool stuff. No, it sucked. The action was so underwhelming, and it sucked. The ending, yeah, you get like, oh, he's jumping on the robots, and it's like he actually is doing stuff now. But it's still kind of meh. It's still kind of mad. Like, he felt so, it looked like he was powerless, man. Like, there was a certain part of the movie where he's he's going after the guy who's responsible, and he's just getting shot. He's just sitting there getting shot, and just walking through it. Like, what type of, like, I thought he overrided his program and he could finally duck behind cover and stuff like that, like he used to do in the very beginning. Like, in the very beginning, they had to change him because he was, you know, acting like a human. And I'm thinking he overrided that. Apparently, they didn't. Apparently, he's still just a stupid robot that goes in and just shoots stuff. There's no personality to his action. No personality. He was just a machine shooting everyone. If you go back and you watch that scene, like, he's just, like, there's no personality to him. There's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they were using some of the old RoboCop, and then they were trying to do something new with it, and it failed. The movie failed hardcore. Like, maybe it wasn't too bad, sure, because, you know, the actors were decent, but damn.
Wow, you really didn't like this film?
No, it was okay as a film. It was bad as a remake. Really bad as a remake. Absolutely really bad. But, you know, it's a remake. This is usually how remakes go. I mean,
it's weird, dude. When we started Movie Club, I thought I was going to be the one complaining about movies more.
Yeah, and I'm complaining again.
And most weeks, you're the bigger pessimist.
Dude,
I thought it was...
This only started after, like, what, like,
how many
maybe
out of 10 would you give
after
this movie?
Chronicle? Because I loved Chronicle and you didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, how much out of 10 would you give this film?
Don't ask me to put a number on it.
I would give it a 7.
This is how I judge it. RoboCop's fans, don't watch this film. You're gonna get mad.
Ooh.
Like, if you're, like, hardcore, if you just watch RoboCop or whatever, and you're like, you know, I watched it way back. You're not really, like, hardcore in it, then you might be okay with it, you know? But if you're, like, hardcore and you expect it to be RoboCop, don't expect it to be RoboCop. There's some good stuff they do with it. It's not as bad because there's a couple good scenes in the movie, and the actors really deliver some of the story quite well. But mostly overall, it's a pretty meh film. It's mediocre, really, really mediocre. You know, I'm going into
So is a mediocre like a 4 or a 5?
Well, because I mean, I very recently watched RoboCop 1. You know, the original came out in 1987. I give it a 4.
Wow, jeez. Okay, cool. No, that's fair enough.
But you might enjoy it. Like, people might enjoy it. Like, I'm not gonna say no one's gonna enjoy this. I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, there's some worth to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it will hold you. I just think it fell off, like, narratively at some point.
Ooh,
There was something.
did it?
I've got a question for you about the first RoboCop. One of the things I thought was coolest about this movie, and it's such a superficial thing, but I loved the design of them. The, like, bipedal robots. You know, the big ones, like the tank robots.
Yeah, like the Metal Gear Solid ones, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've seen those in, like, so many games and things that I've played. I love the design of that kind of robot. Were they in the first one as well?
Yeah.
Were there any cool scenes with them?
But it wasn't, like, a lot. Like, back then, in RoboCop, there's a different story. You know, now we can have a whole bunch of robots all over the place and stuff like that. It'll be okay, right? The CGI is easy now. Well, not easy, but, like, it's easy. Yeah. Let me not. I know a 3D artist, so she would cringe if I say that. Really cringe. Artists get really upset.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Artists get really upset when you say their stuff is easy. Yeah, really upset. Anyways,
Wait, do you have a story about that?
I do, but let's move on.
No, I want to hear this story. You told an artist. I like what you did there. In the last
RoboCop, the story was there was no conflict about, should we put robots in society? No. It was, we need new law enforcement, and we're gonna take this guy and do this, like, project, the secret project, that inhumane project, and make RoboCop. Wow. Right? He was the only machine that they made. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because that was a huge thing about 2014. This, the idea of, should robots be allowed in regular society?
Yeah.
I actually really liked the idea that in that movie, the American people was too scared to have robots governing them and their own crimes, but they were happy to use them in a military capacity overseas. I actually thought that was really cool, and that actually brought up a lot of interesting little things in the film.
And
like
that's
that guy
why
who's
I thought it was pretty decent. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I like what they did with the story. It just kind of fell flat.
It did, yeah.
And
they turned a cool character.
It was a good remake. I'm pretty sure on paper people thought this was going to be awesome, and that's probably why they got Samuel L. Jackson and Gary Oldman and all those guys, right? That's probably why. And there's some other good guys in there as well. You know, like the guy.
The kid actor wasn't very good. I'll say that much.
Michael Keaton, I think his name is. I'm pretty sure people. He played the guy who the CEO of the company or the president of the company that was making
Oh yeah,
all the
I thought he
machines.
was pretty good in it too,
Yeah,
actually.
like he's a good actor as well. He didn't play the evil guy it wasn't evil. He wasn't necessarily evil. It was more like I'm a business guy and I get business done. I felt like he didn't do that. I felt like he was more of a nicer guy, sort of.
Yeah, you're right. There was there was one scene where he was like, "Oh, we're really pushing for deadlines," and he says, "Okay, we've got these 3 candidates," and he flicks through all of them, and the doctor each time says, "This candidate's not good for this. He's not good for this. He's not good for this." And then the big business guy, you'd expect in most films, he'd be like, "No, that's not good enough. You have to push deadlines or whatever."
Right.
But this one was like, "No, all right, that's fine. Okay, just find."
Yeah,
someone
he's
else."
careful, but he doesn't mind cutting corners to get things done. It was a little bit weird because in RoboCop, it was so established who the people who was bad, I guess you can say, and who was shady. In this one, he was kind of like,
that's bad?
Huh?
Do you think that change is bad?
Not necessarily. The thing is, the way that the president gave off is that he was a nice guy. So I was kind of conflicted when things progressed, should I say, without mentioning spoilers. Things progressed and things happened. I was just like, should I feel bad for him or not? Should I? Because I kind of liked his character, you know? Like, it's just like, I don't know if, things were deserved, to put it like that. But anyways, that is Movie Club. Anything else?
Well, the next week's movie, I got an idea for it.
Oh, an idea? Uh-huh.
And hopefully you haven't seen this. I apologize if you have, and if you've talked to me about it before. Have you seen American Hustle?
American Hustle.
Sweet, you haven't. So I promised last week I was going to do a good movie. Now, obviously, I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know 100%, but I've heard good things about it.
Is it an old one or a new one?
It's pretty new, 2013 American Hustle. It's the one I want to watch. So, yeah, I'm really interested in watching this.
Oh, with Bradley Cooper and Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay, so we'll watch that. For people who want to know, a fictional film set in the alluring world of one of the most stunning scandals to rock our nation. American Hustle tells the story of a brilliant con man who, along with his equally cunning and seductive British partner, is forced to work for a wild FBI agent. And blah, and so on. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm quite interested. Because of Lost, there's a character who cons people a lot in that. And so it got me thinking about this movie and like, okay, I kind of want to watch it. So
all right.
That's
the
goal.
Well, this one, I think I don't think you can watch this around a kid, so be wary. It's rated R. Just to give a heads up.
R. Well, look, RoboCop 2014 didn't do good for being PG-13. So
No. I don't care about rated R. Believe me, I don't care. The Twilight movies were supposed to be rated R. This I'm just saying, I'm mentioning it because like last time with Redline, I was like, random boobs, just right there, random boobs. You're watching it in front of your mom, and then all of a sudden, random boobs pop right out.
If you're going for like a certain rating in England, you can't show certain things. Like certain things are always censored that they're not in the States. Do you know what one of the biggest ones of those is? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Like a huge thing? Headbutts. Apparently in our country, we hate headbutts. Can't show them. We'll show whatever else, but headbutts always end up getting censored out.
Are you kidding me?
All the time. No, I'm not kidding you. It's like this big thing. All headbutts, just so they don't get through the BBFC.
Why do I think about a head hitting a butt for some reason?
I think maybe the logic behind it is that if you don't want impressionable kids watching a movie and getting ideas, right? It's sort of okay if you're showing people with all gunfights and stuff, because this is a country where we don't have guns or whatever anyway, right? It's even okay to show people smashing each other's heads in with crowbars and stuff, because again, it's like that bit further removed from reality. But a headbutt is something anyone, anywhere can do that is incredibly violent and also incredibly damaging. So I think that's why, but it's weird, isn't it? It's just like, oh, headbutt's not allowed. So all the scenes in your favourite movies where you've ever seen a headbutt, if you watch the English version, it's probably not there. Some other weird thing or horrible cut. So
they're thinking that it's gonna make people do it in real life.
Yeah, because it's accessible, you know. It might mean that the next time someone's in a fight or a violent situation, they have had some impression left on them from the movie they watched recently, and they go for it.
I don't know. Like, I guess I'm thinking it all depends. I think we were talking about this before. It all depends on how people receive information. Some people are stupid enough to reenact things that they see on TV, but I was a little kid and I watched all the action films. Here's another thing though, like TV. I've talked about this before. TV and movies and stuff. They show people getting knocked out, and then they wake up a couple of hours later in a different area, and then they get knocked out again. And like in real life, you know, if you've just been hit so hard in the head that you've fallen unconscious, there's a very good chance you're never going to wake up again. You're going to die. And that happens with headbutts. So, you know, movies show, oh, I'm knotting you and whatever, and, you know, it's all whatever. It's not of big consequence. People, therefore, sort of grow up not realizing it is of big consequence. And then they headbutt someone, they fall unconscious. They still might even think it's sort of okay. But then later they realize, oh, I killed a person. Right.
And it gets pretty bad.
All right, there you go. So, is it time for Guild Wars Electrum?
Electrum.
I feel like we have to cycle. We have to switch the name now.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I'll give you a new one. You can't say what the new one is until the patch comes out, though. All right. Okay.
Okay.
But this should be our new one because it's something in the new patch.
Oh, spoilers!
I actually spelled that wrong, but yeah. All right, yeah. Anyway, so Guild Wars 2 topics. 3 main things of note, I guess we can talk about. Number one was there was an article about there was an article about the music that was playing in Lion's Arch. Did you give that a read? Have any look at it at all?
No.
Sort of interesting. Really, I don't have very much to say on it at all. It was a pretty short blog post, but it's kind of cool to at least see those areas of development as well at the same time. You know, I really that's always been kind of weird. Like they usually do a lot of they do the announcements you're all familiar with, but they also have a very high frequency of audio-based blogs and stuff. Whether it's like sound effects or music, there's always been a lot of those, and I don't know. It's not like the series is particularly renowned for having amazing music. Maybe back when Jeremy Soule was with them, but he's not anymore. Not saying that their music's bad, it's just kind of interesting to me. Anyway, so that was the first big bit of news that came out. The next one was the Point of Interest live stream, in which they talked about various things to do with Season 2 of Living World. What do you think of what happened there?
It was okay. I watched some of it. What do you think about the new way they're doing it? Like, they put a face to it now. I think Kate, her name is Kate. She does it. She used to do She Geek. She used to do a show on the internet.
Right, yeah, I remember her saying, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to look at that. I kind of want to see what's up with that.
Yeah, she was decent at it. She was good at it. She was good at it.
Okay, wow.
Okay?
Well, no, decent's a fine word.
Jesus, that you were good, Kate. You're good. All right.
I'm just saying, there's a reason she stopped. All right.
No, she got a job at Arena. That's why she stopped.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So yeah, I think because they added her in, it's a lot. It feels a lot more, maybe a little bit more natural now, and there's a face to it now. So I kind of like the new live streams a little bit more than I did the past ones. The past ones seem not really organized properly. Maybe.
Wait. Are you comparing this? This is a new show though. Like, so for people that don't know, they've always done.
No, she's been there for a while. It's not only Points of Interest.
Oh, is she on the Ready Ups as well?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the Ready Ups, but there's other live streams that I've watched, and she's been on at least the past 3 of them. At least.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I quite liked that one of the guys that was a guest on it was number one, the dude that designed making signs all around the Flame and Frost stuff. You know, the big thing everyone hates, the thing that may have, you know, turned... And obviously he had limits on what he could do, so he's totally blameless in my opinion. But he was the guy that did the signs, and it also turns out he was the same guy that by the very end of the season also developed what may possibly, for a lot of people, be the highlight of the whole season, and that's the moment where you stomp Scarlet and that whole instance area. Same dude worked on both bits, such huge contrasting pieces of content in Guild Wars 2. All came from the same guy. I think that's quite cool. It sort of shows how, I don't know, how individuals got more free reign or more opportunities and stuff as the season went along and actually made stuff a bit better.
Right.
You know? And he also does loads of music as well. Like, they were talking in this live stream about how if you work at ArenaNet and you've got, like, talents at random splodges of all different things, then there's always opportunity to use all of that stuff and, you know, you get pulled aside, do whatever you want. It seems kind of organic, for better or worse. But, yeah. So it was a cool live stream. There wasn't too much for them to say though, honestly. Let's be real here. Like the season's not even out, is it? And they said that they're not going to do another one. Wait, is it already? When's your holiday coming up? The American national holiday.
July 4th, which is
So
also
it's
my
not up
5th
yet.
anniversary.
It's your 5th anniversary. Oh yeah, I remember, right? Because you
Yeah.
got married on that day, and it wasn't on purpose either, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. That was like the special day where everyone could come that was important anyway. And my friend was down here as well. My best friend, he could come down there around that time, and it just kind of worked out. And we also could rent the place that we're getting married at that date as well. So it all worked out. It all worked out.
I've never really talked to you about your wedding and that lot too much. Did you ever tell me? Did you propose?
Yeah, I proposed. Of course I did.
How'd that go down? How did you propose?
Well, I got her a heart diamond. Never knew those
Okay.
existed until way back then when I was looking for diamonds and stuff. So I got her. There's a spot in Miami. If people who live around Miami or have been to Florida around the South, there's this place called Miami Shores, right? And
Isn't that where they film like one of the CSIs or something?
no idea. Maybe South Beach. Maybe South Beach is the popular thing, which I have no idea why. South Beach is not that interesting.
Okay.
You go in Miami Shores. There's this place where you can walk alongside this, I guess, this walkway, and there's water to like the north of you,
Okay. Sure.
right? So and it has a really nice view of the city across.
Wait, is this
the
like
water.
a pier or a dock or what?
Hmm. All right, so, all right, it's a little bit weird. I don't know. It's mostly a park. It's called a park, right? But there's just railing and it's all concrete. There's no sand or anything like that, and then rocks. Like it's very high up a little bit as well. And I guess I have to get a picture of it to show you. But it's also in the middle of a bunch of houses as well, like this community. So
Right.
people who have houses right next to the water, they have like their own boats and stuff, and I bet it's like really expensive. They have some really nice houses around this place. And there's just this little walkway where you can walk alongside of the water, and it's very beautiful at night. Very beautiful. Like across the way, that the whole city, it lights up. And during 4th of July,
Full moon.
during 4th of July, there's like fireworks that you can see as well. Like it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Oh, this is so romantic. Okay, go on.
So we go there a lot. It's a good place to kind of clear your mind. And you know, the people around there, it's not in the hood, so you don't have any people trying to shake down your wallets and stuff like that. So there's good people
It's always
around
a
there.
plus.
Okay,
No homeless around.
There's in this neighborhood, police is around all the time. So nothing.
I've always been weirded out by that. Isn't it kind of weird that I mean, so all the nice posh places around me also happen to have police around them all the time. And it's always kind of weird to me. It's like, all right, these people probably don't need the police that much, and yet they're here more than they are anywhere else. Maybe it's just because the police in other
It's because
areas,
the police
like
are
where I
there.
live.
That's why they don't need help. It's because
Yeah, right.
You don't want to do illegal.
But these people are also
activities
more
near
wealthy and-
police routes. You don't want to do that.
Do you not think that because people are more wealthy there, they are also less likely to engage in crime?
No.
or at least street crime.
Yeah,
which is what the police would be about.
immature crime. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, no. So go on. So this is a nice posh area.
What happened was, one day, you know, just a regular day, we went out to the park.
Did you have it planned?
Yeah, I had it planned.
Okay.
And
did she know?
Nope. Are
you
because
sure
we
she
go
didn't
there
know?
to clear our mind all the time and talk, and it's always good. Like, it's always good to just talk when you're married. A lot of people kind of forget about that. It's a weird concept if you haven't been married, but like you kind of fall into this routine and stuff, and I don't like that. I don't like seeing people. Like, I used to watch that, you know, with marriages, and people just fall into this routine where they go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and they don't talk. They don't have time to talk either. But so when I got married, or even before I got married, I like to just chill and talk about stuff. And that's where we used to go there and clear our mind and talk. So she was looking out to like the sea and whatever, and looking out across the way to the city. And I went down on one knee. She didn't notice it. So I waited for her to turn around. And then she was like,
how long were you waiting?
I thought she was going to fall over the rail. I was waiting like a few seconds, 10 seconds maybe, on one knee. And I was like, okay, my knee's getting tired.
She probably thought you were like doing up your shoelaces.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, I thought you were doing your shoelaces. And yeah, that's what she said at the end of it. But she started crying and stuff.
Well, did you say the word specifically? Will you marry me?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I did my little speech like they do, like they do.
Oh,
it was short. I don't like long things. You know, I just told her. You know, it's very special.
Proposal's not really about you anyway. It's about her.
Yeah,
I'd say. So I don't think you need to do a long speech.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when you did it, did you know she was gonna say yes before you went down?
Yeah.
Or was there some risk? So it wasn't that bad, right?
No, like usually if I'm gonna ask someone to marry me, it's
usually
we were
next
mature
VisualWood
already.
we'll have the first
we knew
proposal.
what we wanted already. So
right. Okay.
It wasn't like a thing like, oh, she might say yes. No, there's none of that. I wouldn't get married to someone who I'm not like completely sure of. That's just not. It's not me.
Yeah, no, that should be for anyone in this world. Like, don't propose if you're not sure.
Yeah. You know what? People get wrapped up in this whole lovey-dovey thing. You know, it happens. But anyways, we're so off topic right now. It's ridiculous.
It's good.
Gates
it's good.
to Maguumba. Maguumba.
It sounds like a dance. It's like a do. This is the Maguumba. I'm actually dancing right now. You can't, but yeah, okay.
That's right.
So,
you're standing up.
Yeah,
those things.
Yeah. I'm leaning quite heavily right now.
Too.
Here's the thing, right? I wonder what you think about this. Okay, you know when you're stood for ages and your feet ache, right?
Yeah.
And then you start going on one foot to relieve pressure on the other.
Yes.
Do you ever do that?
Yes.
Do you think that's actually worth doing? Because then you're just putting more pressure on the other foot, and so you're going to swap later.
Next one. Right. Okay,
yeah, but so is it just
I'm
pointless? Is what I'm wondering.
Is what?
Well, is it just pointless to swap feet then? If you're just, because there's the same weight going down at all times. You're just like.
I think the best thing to do is like find something that you could sit on or lean. Not even leaning. What helps actually. What I do, I would lean on something and put up one of my feet. So you're splitting between your hand and your foot instead of both feet. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and then I'll switch, and I'll keep switching. It does feel good though, like when you lift one feet up and you're like, yes, I don't have to use this feet, but then that foot gets tired faster and stuff. Like you keep switching, but it still feels kind of good to keep swapping.
I'm not really like a massage guy.
Yeah.
Or at least as far as I know right now. But one thing I did very much enjoy doing to myself the other day was taking my shoes, my socks off, sitting up, getting my foot right up on my lap, and just like kneading it with both my hands, just like massaging my foot. Oh my god, it feels so good. So good.
Really? I've been kind of like putting my foot up. Like, don't you know how I don't know, I feel like back in the days, guys kind of used to put their foot up on their knee. It was weird. I used to see it a lot. Maybe it was just the people I hanged around with, but I'm kind of doing it now for some reason. Putting my foot up on my knee, like what you were saying, but except not massaging my foot. I've been
like
kind of doing
crossing
that.
your leg.
Yeah, crossing my legs, and maybe even doing the Indian style on my chair. Yeah, I mean, I before this chair didn't have enough space for me, but now that I lost weight, I could actually have some space in here and actually like put up my feet and under me and stuff.
That's such a weird like observation.
Yeah.
Was there any like really weird thing you were like, wow, when I was overweight, I couldn't do this, but now randomly I can?
Many things.
Yeah.
Many things. Like, for instance, sitting down on my bed, right? I'm a little bit more flexible now, so I can put my, well, I've always been flexible, even big, but now it feels like I don't have a lot of meat between me. When I put my legs right on my chest, you know, I could sit like really, I don't know how to explain it.
Your legs on your chest. I'm not sure. How are you sitting? On your knees?
I'm sitting down, but I have my feet up as well at the same time, and I could have my head. Don't you know how people put in the fetal position? That position.
Oh, okay, right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Except like my head is not between my legs or anything like that. But yeah, sitting a little bit like that, but a little bit more relaxed. I can do that better now. Like, I don't know. There's also running and being able to walk up the stairs feeling a lot lighter. There's also getting up a lot easier and more, I don't know. It feels, it's like a total different experience when you lose weight. If you've been big for a long time like I have, like, I mean, like over 300 pounds. I mean, of course you can be a little bit less than that, but like just really big. It's a strange sensation, and it kind of takes a while to get used to. I mean, especially looking in the mirror, and you're like, wow, okay.
I've always been I've always wondered about that because, like losing weight, you lose weight slowly, right? And so I've always thought, you know, like your hair grows in length, but you don't ever notice the change because it happens so gradually.
Right.
So I've always sort of felt like a person could be really, really overweight. You know, like these people who are bedridden, they can't even move. They'd need a helicopter to get them out or whatever, right? And those people could keep losing weight and weight and weight and weight. But how much of a difference would they really feel? Because it's gradual, you know, like your hair growing, you know?
Yeah.
But now you tell me these stories that you really can feel a big difference. That's kind of interesting.
Whoa, that's after I've lost the weight. You know, because when you're never happy with yourself when you're losing weight. You're never happy until you actually lose the man boobs. You know what I'm saying?
Was that like your quota?
Yes,
was that like the moment?
It was. I had man boobs. They weren't as big as normal man boobs, but I had them, and I didn't want them anymore.
Please use the correct scientific term, which is moobs.
Moobs. Okay. There it is. Yeah. Moobs. You know, it's like, oh, I lost weight, but you know, the skin is a little loose.
Saggy.
Yeah, you know, and blah blah blah. And then after I keep losing more and more and more. You know, it tends to kind of flatten out now, and it's like, yes, finally I can wear a shirt and the wind blows, and I don't have to worry about pulling it down to feel like I'm not some big fatty. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm talking about myself here. I'm not talking about you guys. Don't take offense. All right, that's just me. I'm very conscious I was very conscious like with that when I was big. I mean, a part of it was because I needed to lose weight. You know, it was a medical issue. I needed to lose weight, so that was part of it. So you know, if you big and beautiful, then you know, do your thing, homie. I just want y'all to live so you can watch my videos. If all you guys die because you're eating bad, then, you know, I have nobody to watch my videos then. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. In 70 years, all those overweight people who are sub to you right now, they won't be about. While if the skinny people will. So that's more money in your pocket. So it's only worthwhile for you to teach them about this kind of stuff, you know? Otherwise, you could lose your audience.
Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah. So, Gates to Maguumba. This was the big reveal from this week in Guild Wars 2. Season 2 begins, I mean, by the time this podcast goes up, 3 days from now?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, right? Really soon. So, they actually didn't give us that information, don't you think? About the next season in the trailer, don't you think?
Yeah. The trailer, yeah, they didn't give, of course they didn't give much information. It's a trailer. It's a teaser thing. Usually what they do on Tuesdays. But it did get me interested in certain shots. Don't you know those end shots where they're walking between like this canyon, and I'm like, what is this? This is different than what I'm used to. Like it hopefully it's just not that camera shot, and it actually is like some nice canyon, you know, a big difference in what we're used to.
A new environmental aesthetic.
Yes, yes. And there's this part where there's a sandstorm in the desert, right? And I wonder
and Rox and
if
Bram are walking through.
you remember how before I was thinking about like a mechanic for this new map. I wonder if there's gonna be a mechanic for this map using the sandstorm.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that at all.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, what if like there's this the part of the map where the desert was very harsh and you had to do this and do that, and like, it would be pretty cool. I don't know, like water would be such a dumb way to do it. Like, you know, oh, you have to go to these oasis things, but like I would like to see something really cool of maybe monsters, you know, attacking you from underground while you're in the sandstorm, or it's a random dynamic to that area where sandstorms just come like
what
an
you
event.
Could have,
like an event.
What you could have is just like a big sandstorm that's just constantly rolling through the map.
Yes.
And while it's in certain areas of the map, you just get like heavy health degen or something on you. Which means that you can only go to certain areas of the map and take certain routes through the map at certain times of the day. But then maybe there's like really good loot you can get that protects you from the sandstorm and allows you to travel through it a bit more, and you know, stuff like that.
Taking my
really
gear?
Cool.
Oh no.
No, not necessarily gear. It could just be like they can
like
unlock
buff?
stuff.
Maybe a buff from somebody.
Yeah, like so you do a
Like
bunch
they
of
did.
stuff, and this unlocks someone as a merchant that gives you a buff that
Yeah.
protects you from the sandstorm,
Probably.
or something like that. You know, there's a million ways they could do it. I think that'd be cool though. That really would. What do you think of the Zephyrite stuff? So for people that didn't watch the trailer, first of all, go watch it. But the main thing about it is it's like half of it, less than half of it, is showing off footage from new zones. And the first bit, like a huge chunk, is about the Zephyrite in their flying airship fleet in the sky being like sabotaged and blown up. What do you make of that? Very much.
I knew that they had to have the Zephyrite in them, because they just put this patch like, oh, the Zephyrite are here, and there's a little bit of living story in there, like in the beginning, living story instance in Lion's Arch. You know, they're talking and they're talking about stuff that has happened. They had to have the Zephyrite in them, the airships, and then when I saw the airships get blown up, I was like, yes.
So do you think we'll
I was quite happy.
Here's the thing with me, right? That airship fleet was in the sky, and it was blown up in the trailer. So does this mean when the patch comes out, we get to go into the fleet while it's in the sky and witness it blow up ourselves? Or do we only see the aftermath, and we like see the ruins of the ships, or what? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would like to be on the airship.
That would be cool, right?
I would love to be on the airship, because that would be something different. It wouldn't be something different. This happened in the Ara story dungeon and stuff like that. But I still want it. You know, I don't
just
care if
they
it's
did
not
it once.
different.
Yeah, just because they did it once in a Ra story, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They've just shown that the game has the technology to have us flying through areas like that. It would be so cool if we had a whole fleet. And like the Ara thing as well, like it's just one small airship with loads of combat. What about that idea of flying through the air like in the Ara thing? But instead of it just being like you with a party of 5 people and it's combat, think of that as just like still probably an instance and maybe 5 people or whatever, but it's more of like an exploration thing. Like you're just walking around, going into the ship, speaking to NPCs, and you're flying around in real time, and the ships are coming together and moving away as you can cross them and stuff. But it's like it feels sort of open worldy. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like exploring the airships and their fleets while they're flying over Tyria, and you can see all the scenery moving underneath you. But it feels the same as it did when we were like at the Labyrinthine Cliffs, you know. And you're just chatting with the Zephyrite. That would be cool.
A random thought, like with that open world feel, being able to jump from ship to ship using 1 to 2
aspects.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, it would. I think that'd be really cool. And then eventually they get shot down, and oh look, you're in an area you've never seen before. Woo, we're in a new map or something.
Yeah, I dig that.
I think in order to what might be really cool for them to do with with the living world here is, yeah, there might be a new map coming in, but what they should do is have like a lot of story content really early on, loads of story content, you know, hours of it before you finally get to the new map. So that way, when people do go to the map, if the map isn't, you know, particularly big, if it disappoints people because it doesn't have that much content in it, you know, does it not have all the world completion stuff in it? Are there no hearts? Are there not enough events? Stuff like that. So if it is disappointing in those regards, at least by the time people get there, they feel like they've already played loads of stuff. You know, if you just come out of 2 hours worth of story and now boom, you're in the new map and it's all exploded and it's all open for you, like that's going to feel really cool. And even if the map itself is a slight letdown, people will have gone through the story just for access to it. Do you know what I mean? And like, hopefully they should just be satisfied from that alone. And I think that might be a way to curb disappointment, because there's going to be disappointment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be.
It's Guild Wars 2. People are expecting a lot of things from Guild Wars 2 that they've come to expect from other MMOs, but they're not really gonna get it, you know. And I've come to terms with it, you know. I've come to terms with it. So like, people are gonna expect season 2 to be this thing where they add all the things that they've been wanting for a while, and it's probably just gonna be more of what the vision of ArenaNet and it's always been, you know. You're not gonna get all that crazy progression and stuff.
Well, yeah, because they can't please everyone.
Yeah, they're gonna please the audience that they already have.
That the like the casual, everything's open kind of audience.
Yeah. So we have yet to play it, but I'm hoping that
I'm very excited to play it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hoping that it's gonna be something really cool, and I'm hoping for the story to recapture us. Yeah, definitely, because the story's delivered very badly in game. And when I was doing, I think I mentioned this last time, when I was doing the lore for the Flame and Frost, right, which was the beginning one where they were fixing signs and stuff, I was like, man, this is really good. This is really good. But I didn't get the story inside of the game. Why? Because it was done poorly. So I'm hoping that all these months that they've been working on this, all these episodes, that I guess we call them episodes now, that they will be more, I don't know, not established, but they know where they're going with the story from the very beginning. It's not going to be some shoehorn thing. With Scarlet and all that. They know exactly what they're doing here, and the way they implement the story is going to be a lot better. And
the thing is, it's not just knowing where they're going, but it's really specifically knowing where they're going. Like, if you asked anyone at ArenaNet, hey, did you know where you were going for Living World Season 1? They'd say, oh yeah, of course we did. It was all planned out. But it wasn't really, was it? It was vague ideas and themes that were planned out. And then they ended up botched in their execution, and there weren't any convincing hints or things as it went along, and they were clearly finding their feet. Right? So this time, it's, knowing where they're going, but also having, you know, a really rigid structure to the whole narrative laid out, the nature of each patch, and, you know, having plenty of development time to work on them. Here's something that I'm kind of curious about, right? So we had a big long hiatus for the start of the season, and presumably they've worked on the first 4 patches or so, because they have 4 different teams, or at least they did at first. So patch 1 has had tons of time, patch 2's had tons of time, patch 3, patch 4. What happens after patch 4? Do we go back to kind of, you know, barely scraping what really constitutes a Living World update? Do we go back to really, really little patches? How have they got around that, you know? Because, you know, this is not something that you can blame the devs on. If you look at anything like Glassdoor or anything about them, it looks like they're really stretched thin as hell, and everyone's working really hard, and, you know, they just don't have the manpower to do it. But, you know, how has that changed? How has any of this changed? Yeah, we may get 4 good patches, but what about after that? Yeah, they might have the end goal, but is the quality going to decline? And are we going to have a hiatus just so that they can produce a convincing finale, again, just as they did for Season 1?
I really hope not. I would hope that they've been working all these months so they don't have to stop it. No, they're not going to work on the whole thing, but they're working enough so it will, while this patch is out, they can work on the next one. And then
Well, that was what happened with but that's what happened with Living World Season 1 as well, right?
Yeah,
and it still only gives them 2 months to develop a patch.
But wouldn't you think that they have all these months that they have been on hiatus that they would have, worked ahead of the time? Work ahead of the time? And people are already working on, like, not the finale, but months and months down the line for the end of the year content?
So you think they've got, like, more than the first 4 done, but not the whole season?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I guess that could work.
I really hope so. I really hope so. I don't want another hiatus. I do not want another hiatus.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not one as long as this one's been.
Oh, absolutely.
I could take a month hiatus because basically that's only 2 patches. I could take that as long as we've had enough until that comes. If we get 10 Living World updates and then they want to take a month off, fine. I'm not going to be the one complaining about that. But they can't push it too much, I guess. Not mid-season. Have your hiatuses after the seasons are over. And I guess that's what they're planning, right? So
yeah.
Shouldn't really say. But anyway, big stuff. And I'm sure we'll have time. Dude, think about next podcast. It's going to be pretty crazy, right? There's going to be a lot to say on GWT.
Tons.
A lot. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much what's going on with Guild Wars 2 news. I guess we're now on to Ring the Bell.
Ring, ring, ring. Ring a ding ding.
Okay, alright, sweet. The questions. Did something happen to Antler, did it?
There it is.
Yay! Yay! Alright. So, are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Okay. The first question is from Robert Foster, who says, what mics equipment do you use to record your podcasts? I know how to use DX Story, but I'm not sure my microphone is up to snuff. Suggestions.
Okay, so me and you have 2 different, ideas about this. All right. I use a very expensive one because I saved up a lot of money. You don't have to use something like this. You can get something like the Blue Yeti, or all right. If you want to spend some money, it depends. There's a lot of microphones that are USB, right? And you're gonna get a certain quality from that. Blue Yeti is really good for getting a really good quality. If your room is if you're in a big room and using a Blue Yeti, it's gonna be very bad. You're gonna get a lot of echo. Blue Yeti tends to take a lot of the room with it because it's used for certain things, right? But there's a lot of different settings on a Yeti that would make it worth it, like being able to talk on both sides of the microphone. They have so many options. Blue Yeti is a really good choice. There's also another Audio-Technica microphone that you can also use that's USB. That's also very good. It's a different microphone entirely, and it won't pick up a lot of the room. I can't remember which one this one is. It's a USB form of maybe it's like $100. I'll leave a link in the description. But I have gone through a couple microphones, and I think a decent quality, if you want decent quality and you don't mind spending the extra money if you're not on a budget, I would say get a audio interface and a nice mic. The audio interface will run you around $120, and a good mic will run you.
Do you want to explain to people what an audio interface does?
It's all right. So don't you know XLR inputs? They use those for, if you guys ever seen like a music setup. You'll connect your, I guess, your mic to an amp or your let's say guitar, yeah, anything like that, to a, I guess you could call it not necessarily, it's amps. You also do it to a oh man, why am I blanking on the name of the mixer? I guess you just call it the mixer. The mixer where you could change the EQ settings and the compression and all that. There's all of that you can connect using an XLR cable. Also a 3.5 inch as well. But this one allows you to connect it through the audio interface, right? You connect your mic through that, and then from the audio interface to a USB to your PC. I'm not explaining this right. To your PC. And what happens is, the reason why you would do that is that the mic that you're using needs more power. And it's basically like a portable sound card. right? That's a lot better than your onboard PC motherboard. Your PC's motherboard's sound card, because it really, you're going to get a certain quality from that. So what it does is that it converts it properly to digital, analog to digital. So it improves the quality a lot. What can I say? It improves the quality a lot. You get a fresher, clean sound. It all depends on your room. Let me tell you about audio quality. All depends on the room that you're in. If you do not have a good, if you're not using like, if you're not in just like a small room with some treated walls, meaning like acoustic foam, or even just going to the store and getting a mattress top and cutting it and putting it onto the wall. You made your like own ghetto thing, right? No, mine wasn't ghetto. Actually, mine is I actually cut boards, cut wood, and put fiberglass in them, wrapped it in burlap, and I have it all around my wall. Because I live in a small little condo with no roof and no room. I have no room. Like, this is a studio. So, and I have a high ceiling. So my quality is always, this is the best I'm going to be able to get it. It's the best. When I move from this place into a room and I treat the walls, it's going to be a drastic difference. Drastic. Also making sure you don't have wood floors and stuff like that. That's also a good tip. But there was that guy that used to record that you talked about who recorded just in like a wardrobe or something, right? Yeah. And he padded the walls with like pillows and luggage and stuff like that, and he got good quality. It's a sound booth. The goal here, guys, is you want the sound to get absorbed by as much stuff as possible. So fabrics and things like that. The foam you can buy specifically for the job is obviously the best. That's what you'd be doing by treating your walls. I'll try to find a link that explains it. The sound, when it comes out of your mouth, it bounces off the walls, and you'll get reverb on your mic, which will make the quality sound really crappy. And that's where you have that echo sound in the back, and you don't want that in your recording. It just makes it sound really bad. That's when you hear voice actors, it's very crisp and clean. It's very, it's crisp and clean. I'm gonna say it's good. It's good because they're talking in a place where the walls are treated, or they're talking in a homemade. I've seen people made studios, not even a studio, a vocal booth in their closet, and they put their mic up and everything. Do you know what else those people are doing? What? They're standing up. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a big help to audio. There won't be any difference to mine, I'm sure, but that can help as well. If it depends what kind of stuff you're doing, obviously. When I was rapping in that video, I stand up. I couldn't do it sitting down. You can't rap sitting down, really? I guess there's a serious thing about airflow, right, when you're rapping? Yeah. It feels better to do it while standing up. When people rap, do they rap while breathing in? It depends, no, never mind. That's impossible. No, you can't rap while breathing in, can you? No. No, not like you. Yeah, you just can't. Between verses, you can like take a quick breath. That should not come out in the microphone. So yeah. No, I love those little breaths. That's the part of the magic of it. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's all about the room, dude. It's all about the room. First, work around your room. I'll try to leave. I'll try to remember some links down below of research I've done to try to improve my quality. Because Matt went through a huge thing about this very recently, so he's really on top of the ball. Well, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've upgraded and kind of fell into my little. Oh, don't say that. No. Time doesn't move on. Yeah, it happened very recently. All right. Right. Months ago, recently. Like that video you uploaded, and you're like, what? Was that the rap, actually? We were talking about the other day, and you're like, I can't believe I uploaded that so long ago. That was 7 months ago. Yeah. Wow. It's ridiculous. Like, some of the stuff I've made was, I don't think it was a rap. I think it was the MMO PSA. Yeah, right. Last year, and I'm like, wow, time flies. What am I doing with my life? And I'm just playing. But yeah. Dude, it's funny. Like, I was going to say, like, there was a time with these podcasts where we did 3, maybe 4 podcasts in a row, and I felt like we'd recorded a podcast, I'd gone to bed and then woken up, and a whole week had passed, and I was recording another podcast, and time had just flown really quickly. Yeah. It's really weird. This week,
Maybe it's because of the standing desk thing. Maybe. I don't know. This week, I feel like it's been an eternity. I can barely remember last week's podcast. Barely. It seems really weird to me that it's only this has been a week. It feels like it's been like 2-3 weeks since I last recorded one of these with you.
Yeah.
But apparently not. It's funny how stuff like that happens. But yeah. Okay, well, do you want to move on to the next question then?
Yeah.
Hopefully that enlightens the guy. So the next one is from the Super Leet Chicken. Lovely name. Who says, "Dear Matthew, optique et les pommes de terre de boy." I believe that's it. Says, "I've noticed in a lot of your podcasts that you mention RuneScape. My question is this: what were your impressions of the game and when did you play? If you feel like it, give it a look because the game has changed a huge amount in the last 2 years. On a completely different subject, if you two could have any skill of your choice, like musical talent, what would you choose?"
We didn't. Oh, okay. So this was a past question. I swear we answered this already. Okay.
I don't think we did. No.
Did we? Did we? A music skill of our choice?
Well, last week we had the question, what do you do even though you're bad at it? Which you, by the way, weaseled out of and never gave an answer for in the end. We said we were going to go back to it and we didn't.
Dude, don't put me on the spot. I don't know. I don't know. I usually, when I don't do something, if I can't think of something, I can't think of anything I do that I'm just bad at, that I'll eventually get better at it.
Very confident in your lifestyle, I see.
Well, yeah. I mean, what was your answer again?
Singing.
Oh.
That I sing all the time and I'm terrible singer.
Well, I'm not really good at singing, so I just don't do it.
Oh, but it's so good. It sets your soul free to sing, dude.
Well, yeah.
You appreciate that music on another level when you sing.
When you're playing, rock band, those fun moments where people can't sing and they're like singing through the mic. I saw that in MomoCon. Oh my gosh. In MomoCon, people were just up there singing and it was just like, oh gosh, don't sing. And it was on the speakers too. I was like, oh, it's so bad.
I did like a drunk karaoke with a bunch of my friends a while ago. And let me tell you, if you are drunk enough, it doesn't matter how bad you are at singing. You can do it in front of an audience who hate you for it. But, yeah.
Amazing.
So seriously, you're learning something that you're bad at right now, but you keep doing it? Is there anything your wife does that she wants your input on sometimes or help with, and you're just bad at it?
No.
But you do it anyway.
I'm good at everything. Every time she asks me for something, I'm like, I learn it and then I do it for her. Yeah, I guess I just do things different. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna figure out one day, and I'm gonna say it on the podcast. So keep tuned to the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Stay visual for the podcast for this future revelation that will be coming out.
Just like, I don't think I answered it last time. So RuneScape. Impressions of the game when I played. Back then, when I played it, I was just addicted to it. And I played a long time ago. I haven't touched it now because I'm a different person now. I think that's a lot. What happens a lot is that you kind of change and your tastes change and everything changes. That's why some people move on from certain games and stuff like that. For RuneScape, it was very rewarding. Of like back then when you used to grind to get your fish level up, or to be able to harpoon sharks and or grind mobs and stuff like that. It was rewarding because you were more powerful. You can go out in the world and do some PvP, right? People killing, some PK, or you can get a high enough level to fight these monsters that will give you better loot that you can sell to people and get extremely rich. The people who had time to grind and spend all their time in RuneScape got rewarded heavily for it. I mean heavily. All right? That was the pull for me, and that was the pull for me for MapleStory as well. I like that type of gameplay, except I would like the grinding to be more fun, and more interesting to do. MapleStory kind of did that for me with the grinding. It was fun to play the characters and level them up. But I haven't played it recently, so there's still like a big audience for it. There's still streams getting like
there was a
3K
big
people?
change.
Huh?
There was a big change to the game really recently.
Yeah,
Huge
RuneScape
change.
3.
Yeah,
RuneScape
I've got a friend who plays it a lot, and he's been trying to get me into it.
Oh,
I
God.
think he's actually playing Runes because they split it. Obviously, we talked about this before, definitely. But the idea that you can play the 2008 version of RuneScape right now if you want, and I think he's made a new character on that, and I'm kind of tempted because I miss the grinding, and I'm kind of nostalgic for the game.
Yeah.
But so now you got two very distinct options when you choose to sign in on RuneScape. And you showed me this like YouTube channel of a guy who's doing a run of RuneScape where he has no assistance from other players. So he's uploading these YouTube videos of him, his progress. So every item he ever wants to get, he has to grind for himself. He cannot buy it from the the Grand Exchange or whatever. He has to get everything for himself, and like it's this immense challenge thing, and it gets like tons of views as well. It's crazy actually, the amount of people who are interested in watching this guy do it on RuneScape. Kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah. All right, so the next question is from Kaida G, who says,
"Oh, hold on.
Hey,
what musical talent?" would you choose?
Well, no. Okay, the question is, if you could have a skill of your choice, like musical talent, what would you choose?
I would like to have know martial arts.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think of that. That is a good one.
You know, it takes years and years to get to the point that where I want to be. To learn, I would like to learn a lot of martial, a lot of it, you know, and be able to defend myself against, like just like in the movies, you know. I mean, that stuff is real. Like people actually do that, you know. People are just quicker and faster, and I think it also changes your mind as well, and I don't know, the more experience you have in different things in your life, like the more it applies to other situations, you know, being aware of your surroundings, for instance.
I was reading this story some woman posted about how she had started working out, and how, you know, this really wasn't a bad thing, that, you know, women should feel free to train for strength if they like and stuff, and this should be a very positive thing. But she was talking about how it impacted her life, and about how, as previously a very weak, you know, timid female, she, you know, there was a certain part of her, a very considerable part of her, that never wanted to leave the house alone after like 9 o'clock and be in a bad neighborhood or whatever. You know, just like a fundamental thing about her existence as a human being. These were places that scared her. And yet now that she'd been working out, and now she had confidence, and now she knew she could defend herself if she ever wanted to, it hadn't made her a violent person, but it had just made her whole outlook on life like so much brighter. It was a really, really interesting read, actually. And obviously that goes for men and women too. That's a good one. Yeah. For me, I mean, there's so many. I mean, a skill. I think musical talent would be great. Just basically any skill, okay, that... okay, there's some instruments I wouldn't like to play. A piano would obviously be awesome. Anything I can just skip to the end of and not have to have any discipline to be able to do it well, that'd be awesome. I would love that. So, yeah, probably playing some musical instrument. Or, a bit along your line, right? What do you think about... You're saying, like, martial arts to defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
From humans... What do you think about like Bear Grylls style, you know, the skill to survive in the wild, just in case there's like a post-apocalyptic thing at some point in the future? I mean, what do you think's better?
You could just follow a hand guide or something like that.
I mean, no, that's not the same.
I guess, yeah.
Like,
I mean, being able to know what plants are what and stuff like that, and what you can eat and what you can't eat.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting. That's years and years of experience of learning all that. Oh man.
Yeah, is that a skill really, or is that just, you know?
That's just knowledge, I think.
Maybe it doesn't count then. Yeah. Because otherwise, I could be like, oh, I'd just like to know how to, you know, do rocket science, and then there you go, which isn't really a skill. Mm-hmm. So yeah, okay, sure, all right, just learning the piano. There you go. Boring, but would be quite cool. The next question is from Lorenzo, who says, question for MV and WP. I'm extremely thin. I'm sitting on a yoga ball while gaming and go to the gym every second day and can't manage to gain weight. Since WP is an expert in the unhealthy lifestyle, I thought this would be the place to ask for tips. So I wanted to throw this to you as well. What do you think, as someone who's been on both ends of the street? What did you...
I can easily gain weight. That is easy for me. So what the problem is that he or she has high metabolism, right? So
No, it's that they
I've
go
met
to the
people like
gym.
this. I've met a couple girls like this. They can eat whatever they want. I hate them. I hate them so much. Eat whatever they want and they just don't gain weight. There are healthy ways. You don't have to eat bad in order to gain weight, but it's the easy way. I mean, the food is cheap too. It's way cheaper. But as you get older, you must be. I don't know if you're how old you are, but as you get older, your metabolism will start to slow, and you may regret trying to gain weight. To be honest, because it's gonna be a lot harder to lose it as you get older.
Well, if someone wants to, if they describe themselves as extremely thin and wanting to gain weight, you know, I'm thinking like medical.
Is it fat or is it muscle they're trying to gain?
I guess
because protein
at that point, doesn't it?
Protein can bring on the pounds. There's certain protein supplements that will bring on the pounds. Okay.
You just have to learn to eat a lot, right?
I guess so. Well, I guess so. I mean, some people's metabolism is nuts, man. I mean, they like eating a pizza and it's already digested and ready to come out. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, if he's extremely skinny or she is extremely skinny, then she must have a high metabolism or keeps in shape.
Well, okay, I got to say, right? So, metabolism is a thing, but actually, if you look at the studies, it's not a massive thing. It's really not. There is variance, obviously there is, but it's not so crazy. What it really is really thin people, those people you've seen who eat whatever they want, they probably just eat all that when they're having their meal or whatever, or where they're out in social occasions. But for the rest of their life, they really don't eat that much. A lot of really underweight people, especially, underestimate how much they eat.
No, that's a lie, dude. That's a lie. You don't know. Like, these people eat whatever they want throughout the whole day.
Yeah, but you're not with these people their entire lives, are you? 24/7.
Yes, but I'm friends with these people. I'm friends with you. I've watched them eat. Spend the whole day with them. They eat whatever they want.
I'm just saying, dude. They might eat a lot around you.
No, it's high metabolism. It is. It's not anything else. Trust me. There's a difference between me eating a bunch of burgers and someone else eating a bunch of burgers. Okay? There's a drastic difference.
I agree there is a difference, but it's not drastic.
It is drastic. Drastic difference. I can gain weight like this. Easy. Dude.
Well, if we're talking about two adults as well, like that's the thing as well. For children and very young people, yeah, it's different. But I promise you, same age.
Like I said, as you
range.
get older, it gets easier to gain weight, way easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see.
So, what would you? What if you had to do one tip to gain weight? What would it be?
I would say, if I was in your position, this is not what I'm telling you to do. If I was in your position, I would try to gain muscle, but that's probably not what you're trying to do. I would gain muscle. I would work with like getting some pre-workout stuff to eat and put on muscle. Mm-hmm. Usually people use protein supplements or eat a bunch of meat, right before you work out and stuff like that, and gain some muscle. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff on the internet. Terry, what's his name? It's not Williams. The Indeed guy from not Indeed. The guy from Old Spice.
Oh, that guy, right?
Yeah,
okay,
swole guy. He has his own thing as well. You could see how he gains so much muscle. But yeah, I'm not saying like go search out that, but there's plenty of ways that you can gain weight. I would go the muscle side, but if you're just trying to gain an extra pounds just to look like, if you have like bones in your face, you need to fill that out a little bit, then I would say just eat whatever you want. If you enjoy eating like good food from a good local place, like a good sliced pizza and all that,
now I don't think
have fun. Enjoy. I say
if you're trying to fat up, right? I don't think you need to focus on like big, greasy, fatty meals.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to for very underweight people, I think what they need to focus on is snacking. Snacking is where they need to pick it up, right? You need to find like something you really like, something savory maybe, something bite-sized, like a bag of chips or something like that. Just put those suckers in big bowls and just start snacking all day, just little nomming away all day. And also have your meals on top of that. I reckon that sounds like a recipe for success to me.
I cringe at this because you're just if this person, I don't know how old he or she is or anything like that. If this person gets this habit of snacking, it's going to kill them later on. Years down the line, if they get used to that.
Hey, we're not responsible. We're not responsible. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyways, go.
Well, look, to the person who asked this question, keep in contact over the next few years. If you feel like you're gonna, if you start getting house-sized, let us know.
Oh,
we can swing you in the other direction, yeah?
I am not a pro. I just know what I know. I just know what I've researched. That's it. So don't take my word for it. Dun-dun-dun.
I'd buy that
Rainbow
for $1.
Reference.
Okay.
You go twice as high.
Marius Johnson says,
Rainbow.
"Hey Matt." That's good. I'll just let you sing, man. It's cool. I'll mute this whole bit of my track so it's just you singing in this bit of the podcast. People love it. Okay, the next question is from Marius Joensen, who says, "Hey Matt, and how am I going to say this word here? How would you pronounce that?"
He put my name as M and then
an at sign.
Yeah.
How do you say that? Trekkartoffel. That's
amazing,
good, right? Apparently that's Danish for wooden potato. So I saw a question on Reddit the other day. If you were a serial killer, what would you leave behind at every crime scene as your signature?
Oh, this is a good one. I've thought of this plenty of times.
Really?
Oh yeah, like I dream about being a serial killer.
Do you want to talk about that?
I'm just flying. I watch a lot of I've watched a lot of crime shows and stuff like that. And Castle is one of them, which is very good for serial killers. So
what was your favorite calling card?
It would be something to do with like culture, like if I was really into gaming culture, how freaky would it be to leave a Mario hat or carve an M?
Yeah, you have to do video games like Mario that just don't have any guns or any violence or anything like that. It's just, leave a Pokemon.
Yeah, just like those sweet games. Just carving a Mario hat into someone's skull after you've killed them. Or
kill 151 people, and each time you do it, you leave another Pokemon. So you start with your Bulbasaur, then you get your Ivysaur going, finally your Venusaur. Yeah, well, just whatever. Maybe
the
a little
Pokemon
plushie.
killer.
Yeah, think about it.
They'd
probably cancel the series over it.
Do
you reckon if that happened in Japan, they would seriously start, and they just couldn't catch the guy? What if it just caught on as like this fad among kids where they just start killing people and leaving Pokemon there, and that's how they catch them all? You got to kill 151 people to become a Pokemon master.
Or using weapons in games, like for instance, the God of War, making the God of War, what do you get? It's not the Chains of Olympus, are they? Is that what it's called?
Well, they're like chains, aren't they? I know they're chains.
Yeah. Well, using the God of War weapon, what Kratos uses, and killing somebody with it, and it can be a mystery until people kind of figure it out, And then Mario using like a big fireball, making a big cannon that shoots a big fireball and just burning a body and killing.
No, Mario has the giant hammer. We're going way back. We're going Donkey Kong style here.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Forget the guns. Guns are boring. We're gonna use like really crazy stuff.
Well,
or cutting
here's
someone
the thing.
in half.
We've changed now into murder weapons. This is just the calling card.
Yeah, true.
We're actually killing people with the Pokemon cards.
The gaming killer, and then the news. Just I can see the news. Can you imagine seeing a dead person, but we took off all their clothes and dressed them up as Luigi. We shouldn't be laughing about this.
That just made me think of the murderer. Like this Luigi death stare thing going on. So the murderer dresses up as Luigi and he gives them the death stare before he finally kills them. We'd give gamers a really bad reputation there,
Yeah, and then you can see the news saying like, "Oh, violence in video games obviously cause violence."
And then it's like the
walking around.
The thing is like a Little Big Planet Sackboy thing.
Oh,
So violence in video games from Little Big
can you
Planet.
imagine like you walk into the room and watch like you see this thing hanging, like a big sack thing hanging, and then you unzip it and it's like a person inside.
That's what she said.
Whoa, what?
Up
Okay.
until and then you unzip it bit, it worked. It was fine. It worked up until that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really like talking about murder that much, so I think my input's sort of exhausted.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that was
it?
the last question. Yeah, you got to ring the bell.
Oh, okay. Let's. Oh, there you go. There you go, Antler.
You just want to be able to ring it in another way. Do you know what you should take? What your answer to the skill question should have been? Tambourine. Because if you were good at the tambourine, you could probably make sweet music out of that toy.
Oh, I could. No, I can't.
What if just like little bells was your calling card? You just leave a little bell each time. The bell killer.
And each one has like a different sound to them, a different ball inside. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, if you ring them all together, it creates... Can you make a chord out of that? Would that be a chord if you rang them all together? And then that is like a special thing that I don't know.
Yeah, that would be
your
pretty
downfall.
cool. That would be pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, like a scavenger hunt. You like scavenger hunts, right? That's probably gonna be your thing. That's probably
It's funny.
It's gonna be a big scavenger hunt thing.
My original thought was going to be something from geocaching, because everyone has calling cards in that. So, like, you end up seeing a lot while you play the game. You see, like, people have got certain cards that they leave. They leave marbles, they leave different currencies, stuff like that. So you could easily just take one of their ideas and that'd be your murderer's calling card. Or just drop geocaches on... Alright, I'm done.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and leave us a review on iTunes and give us a like and a follow on SoundCloud.
Please, with the iTunes one, come on, we're desperate here.
We're desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We will see you next week for the Maguumba. Maguumba.
Ritlock has no pets.